That's Daigo Umehara. Let me hear it if you're in here for Daigo.
Okay.
It's the battle of the century.
And here we go. Immediately, this is what you're going to see a lot of, this footsie game.
Very important to establish that early. You know, Zangief wants to have both the jump in and the ground approach. And if you shut down that, it's harder for him to move around on the ground.
Daigo, oh wow, look at that. 3 out of 3 right now. That Snake Eyez has gone to the air, that he's been met with a DP.
And you see how Daigo is moving forward a lot as well. Right? It's not just that he's moving backwards, he's not just throwing fireballs, he takes steps up just like that, at a little bit unorthodox times.
Which one of these
A little bit of uncertainty on Snake Eyes' side there, I think. He's already seen he can't jump. In fact, that's the lesson that Daigo wants him to learn. Obviously, it's not impossible to jump.
Right.
But so far, Snake Eyes has not harassed Daigo on the ground enough to make Daigo pay attention to the ground strongly enough to stop looking at anti-air.
Yeah, right now, Daigo's ground game, the footsie game, fundamentals too strong. Snake Eyez really needs to find a hole, a seam that he can take advantage of. And again, see, he went for the jump there, and it's just not going to work. He has not been able to read Daigo's fireball timing at all.
Well, Daigo has one of, or maybe the best, fireball timings in the world. Okay, and he has for a long time. So it's hard to read when he's going to bring out the fireball. And that means it's hard to read when you're supposed to jump, too, if you're trying to jump over fireballs.
Plus, another thing, too, is that there is a range where Zangief can jump with the fierce. And then if he doesn't touch a button, the uppercut will whiff, just like that right there. But up until that one particular moment, Daigo has been so good at scoping out that distance. Oh, and that, yeah, that's going to do it. And just like that, Daigo, you see how much life Daigo has lost? That's how much he lost basically in both rounds. So in other words, Snake Eyez has barely been able to get a crack on Daigo at all. And wow, we're going to character select for Snake Eyez. Is he actually considering going to it? No, he's going to stick with it. He's going to stick with it. Did he switch Ultra? No, he had Ultra 2 last time.
So much confidence on Daigo's side.
Your destiny will be determined here.
You know, the fireball game, like I said, very, very strong. The willingness to walk up, press crouching medium kick at just the right spot. Okay, so, well, here's Snake Eyez.
Okay.
He finally did find the jump in. If he can get that consistently enough, he might be able to open up the ground better for himself as well.
Okay. That's one of the first times Snake Eyez has actually won that meeting once they both went in at the same time.
It looked like Daigo was expecting and, in fact, hoping for Snake Eyez to jump. Hasn't done it.
Wow, and you see that Snake Eyez just doesn't want to believe that Daigo's throwing those fireballs and those timing.
Well, that's also a hard spot for him to be in. You see how that roundhouse is working against Zangief. It's not quite Sagat roundhouse, but it is kind of tough for Zangief to deal with.
Yeah.
If Zangief is in the crouching process, you know, that sort of animation, then that roundhouse will hit him.
Oh, into the Ultra, and just like that, Daigo had whittled enough damage just through little hits, and then he capitalizes with one FADC. Ooh, boom! And there it is. He's going to take that round.
And the battle continues. Fight!
And that great round there from Snake Eyez, all erased.
The fight is underway. Which of these two
He did do good work, and you're right, it doesn't matter on the scoreboard, but it can matter for these following rounds. Or we might see a little bit different take in how he approaches the jump or the ground game.
Yeah, Daigo.
We are seeing a little bit of difference in how Daigo deals with it.
Yeah, but he's been maintaining the distance that he wants so well that Snake Eyez just hasn't been able to get anything out of that. Just right there, he finally got Daigo to the corner, one combo all the way back out.
Oh, nice.
So beautiful with that air-to-air.
Risky with that Ultra 2 on deck. Poor Snake Eyez. Daigo, will he throw that fireball? That's the question. EX hand red focused. He did throw it, and it was at precisely the right time.
Yeah, and the EX as well to make it as fast as possible. Daigo going up 2-0.
Yeah, hard to deal with it, you know, if you're Snake Eyez right now. And you can see on his face, doesn't really seem entirely sure about what he should be doing better, what he should be doing differently. So he's gone back to character select again.
Thinking about it. He's going to stick with Zangief. Yeah, because really, honestly, going Evil Ryu is just not... I mean, that's the secondary character that he has to fight against Sagat. It worked when he fought against Gact earlier in the tournament, but I just don't think he's going to get the same kind of results going up against Daigo.
The stage of battle is
I think you're right. I do think this is the best bet for him.
Last chance for Snake Eyes. Can he get a win in here? But see how Daigo, every time Snake Eyes tries to jump at that range, Daigo just closes the distance and makes sure that his uppercut will connect.
I love the backdash there after that jump fierce hit, just to reset the situation. Daigo confident enough that he can walk back into the right spot. He has been.
There's a range that's a little bit further out that's good for Geef, but every time Snake Eyes has tried to walk backwards to get into that range, Daigo has just followed him.
All about finding those little spots on screen. Different characters have different strengths at different spots. And you're right, Daigo's done a great job of standing at the range that's strong for him, and Snake Eyes has had trouble doing that.
Yeah, and we saw all those other rounds that Daigo kept throwing that surprise fireball. You notice all of a sudden he's not doing it anymore because he noticed Snake Eyes wasn't walking around as much. He knows Snake Eyes is looking for it. And he has been really sparse with those fireballs. Just going for the true block string on low forward in the fireball, and all those fireballs are adding up, so little by little with the chip.
He's so good at being away. All of a sudden he's in there, and look, it was a perfect setup for that.
Right,
because
yeah.
he had been staying away. All of a sudden he's in for a crouching medium kick and into fireball, as you said. And that had happened a good 3 or 4 times. And he had seen, okay, Snake Eyes is willing to stand still. Let me bring this out. It was the perfect time for that. Match point now for Daigo. EX hand, red focus on deck though. If he finds a poke against any of these buttons, or if he gets through, well, I like that he didn't spend the meter for red focus. That's good for him at least. But still, he's just, as you can see, having a lot of trouble finding where to press buttons and when. And on Daigo's side, it's the complete opposite.
Right, you saw that, like, for example, that crouching roundhouse from Snake Eyes whiff just by pixels. That is not an accident.
That might be it. Daigo, can he seal it? He does.
And just like that, in 3 dominating games, Daigo Umehara sends home the last US player, Snake Eyes.